Okay, again, thanks a lot for joining me tonight. Appreciate that. I understand that you are busy, and let's discuss that. Um, there are three assessments in this unit. Okay, assessment one is actually about discussion forum posting. Okay, the school takes the position that aside from technical skills, technical knowledge in marketing, we also need to be able to communicate using the marketing concepts, using the marketing jargons. Okay, so that we need in online environment, we need to do the forum posting. Okay, so there are two posting that we need to do for assessment one. And look, there's, as mentioned to you before, there are three assessments. Assessment one contributes 25%. Assessment two also contributes 25%. And assessment three contributes 50%. So quite large if you think about it. So you don't want to miss any single assessment. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the content of the assessment one. Okay, it is due in week 4, so we still have time to think about it.
Sorry, Eddie, is that assessment 1 or 3 that you got up?
Say it again, sorry.
Is that assessment 1 or 3 that you've got up?
Assessment 1. You guys see my my screen on assessment 1?
I can see assessment 3 on the screen as well.
Yeah, so.
I apologize. Okay, it is supposed to be assessment 1. Sorry. Let me. Okay, how about that? 1
yeah,
or 2?
Yeah, that's better. 1.
Okay, sorry about that. Well, my computer doesn't. Yeah. Anyway, that's a bit strange. Thanks a lot for reminding me. Okay, so assessment 1 contains 2 parts. Okay, and it is due in week 4. And if you look at that, there are 2 parts in assessment 1, and the first part is basically your posting, your original post in 750 words, well, plus minus 10%, right? And the second part is actually your response to your peer posting. Okay, so you need to select any posting on the portal and write your feedback in 250 words, plus minus 10%. Okay, so your original posting, the first part is due on Monday, week 4, and your response is due on Sunday, week 4. But if you upload it earlier than that, faster than that, that is fine. Okay, all right. So that's assessment 1. Now let's have a look at your the tasks that we need to, or the questions that we need to handle. Okay, that we need to address. The first one is if you look at that, there are 4 things that we need to consider that in these assessments. The first one is to define the concepts and processes in marketing and why it is important to your chosen product, service, organization, or institution. Okay, so we need to think about a product, okay, a service, or an organization, or an institution. All right, if you think it is easier for you to talk about tangible product, go for it. Right, discuss a tangible product. Right, and the second one is to identify and discuss one explicit marketing environmental factor or force and its potential impact on the organization, right? So the task is basically about the marketing environment, okay? Just one, right? There are several of them, and we just need to select one, okay? I got a student trying to explain more than one, and which is fine, okay? If you want to explain more than one, that is fine. The issue is there is a possibility that it may not be that comprehensive. I would rather you discussing one factor only, but you do that comprehensively. Okay, and you may want to look at the all factors just briefly, and then you analyze one factor comprehensively. Okay. The next one is about the your comments. Okay, provide comments on what you consider the company should do in response to this marketing environment. Okay, so what do they do to address that? Okay, and you need to provide 100 to 100 or up to 150 words response to your peer or student's original post. So there are 2 posting that you need to give feedback. In total, you are writing a 250 words plus minus 10%. Okay. Now, one thing that I'd like to highlight in here is actually the rubric. Please go through the rubric in detail. All right. And if you look at that, there is a strong focus on the understanding the concepts, communicating the concepts. All right. Giving feedback, and also your referencing. Okay. Please make sure that we are comfortable with that. Okay. Now, the next thing I'd like to do is to discuss briefly assessment 2 and assessment 3. After that, we come back to have a more discussion on assessment 1. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop sharing this one, and I will. And by the way, if you have questions, put your hand up. Okay. And we are going to stop and discuss the question. Oh, that leads me to assessment 1 again. Hang on a second. Let me just go back here. Why does it give me assessment 1? Oh, this one is assessment 3. Oh. Okay. You guys looking at my assessment brief 4-time quiz? Hello? Is everybody looking at my quiz assessment brief?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Thanks a lot. The second assessment is a quiz, right? It contains 20 multiple choice questions in 45 minutes. Okay. Now look, the reason I'm bringing this to you, I know that I'm not going to show you the questions, right? The reason I'm bringing this to you is because last semester I got a few students joining attempting the quiz without preparation. And look, that is not the best way to complete this, okay? And if you look at that, it also contributes 25% mark. So not bad. It is still a large in terms of size of mark, okay? And it is due on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. in week 7, okay? What I plan to do is one session, in one of the sessions before it is due, I plan to have a bit of gain to help you, reminding you on the questions. I'm planning to build a question using Kahoot, so we have a bit of fun, and hopefully that also reminds us about the some key concepts that maybe that are related to the topics. Okay, right. So that's assessment 2. The next thing I'd like to discuss is briefly the assessment 3. Okay. Assessment 3. Okay, you guys see my assessment briefing 3?
Yep.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, this can be done in as an individual assessment or pair. Okay, and I've created a discussion forum for assessments. Okay, if you can tell me the product that you intend to do, that you intend to analyze, okay, and whether you intend to work in pair or individually, that will be great. The sooner you tell me, the better. All right, I'll give it. I'm going to let the forum for 2-3 more weeks until I said, okay, that's enough. So because we may not have enough time to construct the pair. Okay, so if you intend to work in pair, please do let me know. All right, otherwise I will assume that you will work individually. Okay, now if you look at that, it consists of 50%. It contributes 50% of your total mark, and it is due not Sunday as discussed before. As mentioned in my announcements, it is due on Friday, week 12. Okay, please look at the timetable that I posted. Okay, the purpose of this assessment is actually to for us to demonstrate our skills and knowledge in writing a marketing plan, something similar to marketing plan. Okay. Well, I would say similar to marketing plan because it is not a full-blown marketing plan. Okay, so what we need to do is the introduction. Okay, you introduce the company, right? Company background and situation analysis. There you go. That situation analysis actually is actually related to marketing environment again. All right. So make sure that we are all comfortable with module 1 topic. Okay, which will be discussed briefly tonight. Okay. SWOT analysis, and then your competitors analysis, consumer behavior, STP, segmenting, targeting, positioning, and brand analysis, and then your marketing mix variables, right? The 7 Ps. Okay, we use the 8 Ps and conclusion. And after that, we need to outline the references, right? I have a separate briefing for this one, and I just want to show you the overview of each assessment tonight, and just to give you, a broader picture, and hopefully that helps you to plan your study. Okay, and the next thing I'd like to discuss with you to show you is this one here, right? Guys, I believe you now see my timetable. Yeah. So we are now in here, week 2, okay. And please, if I were you, I would strongly recommend you to download the this timetable on your desktop, because that's our guide basically in terms of timeline throughout the entire course. Okay, and you'll find when assessment 1 is due, when assessment 2 is due. All right. So in week 6, we plan to have a bit of game. Okay, in week 6, stay tuned. That helps us, a bit of fun actually. Hopefully it is fun, and I try to bring some questions using Kahoot to discuss the, as a kind of reminder on certain concepts. Okay, and assessment 3 is due on Friday. Okay, so that's basically the timetable in this unit. Okay, any questions so far?
No.
No? All good? Brilliant.
Yeah,
now, if you don't have any question, what I plan to do is to discuss assessment 1. Okay?
Eddie, with assessment 3.
Yep.
Is that on a product or service or something already out there, or can that be on something like that isn't? Like a new idea or something we might have?
That's actually a good question. And if we refer to the assessment brief, the assessment brief opens the opportunity for us to discuss the business that we want to set up. Okay. Now, if you find it harder, because if you talk about the business that you want to set up, it is something that is not happening yet. Okay, which is probably more challenging for some people. I would recommend you to look at to analyze the existing business, the existing product. Okay, and the preference is for you to analyze the product that operates in Australia. But if you do not live in Australia and you want to analyze market other than Australia, can you can explain it in your introduction. Okay, the same thing to your assessment 1 as well. Okay, assessment 1, if you look at assessment 1, it is actually the small portion of assessment 3, because assessment 1 is related to marketing environment as well. Have I answered your question?
Yeah, Yeah.
Okay. So in brief, yes, you can look at, you can use the existing product in the market, or you can use the business that you want to create in the future. But my personal recommendation is if you can focus on the existing product, because that may help you to look at it in more, tangible way, in quote unquote. Okay. Okay. Now, guys, are you now looking at my assessment one briefing again? Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant. Right. Now let's have a look at it. Okay. Let's jump into the questions. Okay. There are 4 things that we need to do. I'll just copy and paste onto my Word document. My new Word document. Okay. Do you see my Word document here?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Now, if you look at that, define the concepts and processes in marketing, okay? And why it is important to your chosen product, service, organization, or institution, okay? My recommendation for you is, in terms of attacking the question, the first thing that you may want to do is introduction. Okay, so you type your introduction, right? What do we need to include in this? Right here, we introduce the company, the product. Okay, you introduce it, right? This is the product I'm analyzing. If you look at, let's say, if it is KitKat, then introduce KitKat. Okay, produced by Nestle, yada yada, and so on and so forth. That's it. Okay, and if it is beyond Australia, then you introduce the market. Okay, you are analyzing this market, for instance. Okay, and after that, if you look at that, remember in the orientation day, I explained briefly about analyzing the question, and in this instance, if you look at that, the instruction word is define. Okay, so define is the instruction word. So in this instance, if you look at the entire sentence in here, we need to define. Okay, concepts is the keyword that we want to include, and processes. Okay, so the best way to define is to refer to a strong publication. Okay, so the other thing I'd like to highlight to you is, in terms of structuring your report, is headings and subheadings. Okay, so here we use introduction. Okay, the next thing that you want to include is, let's say, marketing concepts. Sorry, typing error. Marketing concepts. Okay, so you define it. Yeah, marketing is what? Okay. My recommendation for you is, after you define it, you give your insights. You show some evaluation on this, your comment about this definition. All right, and you can go back to the pre-recorded material. I discussed thoroughly about what marketing is all about. Okay, and we are going to highlight a little bit tonight. Okay, and marketing process. Okay, you discuss marketing process. Okay, so there are the 2 key things that we need to address for this question. Okay. So let me just put it in bold to show that this is a heading. Okay, and then after that we discuss the next thing, which is basically marketing environment. Okay, marketing environment. Oh, my apologies. Before we jump to the marketing environment, we also need to show why this is important, why they are important, why marketing is important to the company or product that we choose. Okay, you explain it. Okay, you explain. This is important because of what? Okay, now when you explain that why it is important, you actually need to demonstrate that that you understand what marketing is. Okay, and the next one is marketing environment. Okay, marketing environment includes what factors? Okay, there are several factors that we need to consider in terms of marketing environment. Okay, marketing environment includes what factors? Includes, okay, whatever the factors are. Okay, and you explain. In this analysis, you want to analyze, let's say, competitor or political or whatever it is, and you explain it. You explain the concepts. You explain the concept. Yep, political factor is about what, for instance, it's related to what. Okay, and then you explain, and then you apply the concepts. Okay. If you explain political, for instance, then you explain how political affects, okay, the effects of political force to your product or organization. Okay, is that positive or negative, right? Or if you select economic, then you discuss economic. Okay, so that's basically the second question. Okay. And the third question is actually about how they should respond, okay? And then you can create the new headings, companies respond, okay? You discuss how they respond to it, okay? If it is about competitor that you analyze, you explain how the company respond to it, okay? In this instance, you need to write the facts to support your arguments, okay? And the next one is actually about your feedback to your peer students' original post. Okay. Now, before we move on to that spot, okay, can I please ask any questions on it so far? All good? Hello? Yeah.
All good.
All good. Okay, brilliant. All right. If you don't have any questions, now let's look at feedback. Okay, the above tasks are basically your original posting, which is due on Monday. Okay, and then the second posting is your feedback to your peers. Okay, postings. Right. So you need to write feedback for 2 postings. Okay. Now, feedback. There are a few things I'd like to highlight in terms of giving feedback. Okay, first, you please relate it to the concepts or theories. Okay, we know that we are writing posting on marketing concept, so you need to relate that back to marketing concept, the essence of marketing. Okay, look, I'm not expecting you guys to memorize marketing concept, copy and paste from the but I'd like you to be to demonstrate that yes, you understand it. Okay. And then you look at the facts that your peers have outlined to support the arguments, okay? And the other thing is please write feedback, positive feedback and constructive feedback, both positive and constructive feedback, okay? Some people suggest what we call a sandwich method in terms of giving feedback. What it means is actually the first thing that they write is positive feedback, and then it's followed by constructive feedback, and then after that it is closed with another positive feedback. Okay. Now let's have a look at it. Okay. The first positive feedback is actually look. We all like positive feedback. Do you agree? Okay, we all like a positive feedback. Okay, and actually, it is also the fact that our friends should have something positive in their posting. Okay, so we explain it. Hey, you have done this. Okay, which is good. Okay, and after that, you explain your constructive feedback. I would recommend you to think about that. Okay, and you relate that back to the theory again. And lastly, you talk about positive feedback, which is actually the encouragement. I'm confident that you can do it. I'm sure that your posting would be a lot more enjoyable or whatever, okay, to show the encouragement, okay? So that's basically feedback, okay? Guys, any questions? No? All good? Hello?
All good.
All good? All right, brilliant. Now, if you don't have any questions, next thing I'd like to discuss with you is let's look at the PowerPoint slides. Okay. Look, again, as mentioned to you before, I'm not going to discuss all slides. Do you all see these PowerPoint slides?
The screen froze then for a sec.
Oh, okay. All right. How about now?
Yep, it's up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. If you refer to the assessment 1, okay, there are 2 things that we need to understand, that we need to demonstrate that we understand. The first one is marketing concept that includes marketing process. And the second one is a marketing environment. Okay, so let's discuss these two topics. Yeah. Right. So, question for you: what do we mean by marketing? Any thoughts? Hello? Guys, have you got a chance to go through it?
A little bit.
Right. Okay. So what can we recall when it comes to marketing? What is it?
Adding value to a customer's life, creating value.
Adding value. Okay, fair enough. Okay. Customers. Right. Fair enough. Okay. Now let's have a look at it a bit more. Okay. I'm glad that you didn't mention the word promotion, the word selling, the word advertising, because look, they are tactical things. Okay, and if you look at marketing, it goes beyond selling, it goes beyond promotion, it goes beyond advertising. Okay, let's discuss that. Okay, if let's say we set up a firm. Okay, this is our firm. Well, look, if you ask me, Eddie, how can we get, where can we get the money? Well, let's say we get the money, all right, to set up the firm, okay? And our firm will not live alone, all right? Our firm will interact with someone else. In this instance, one of the critical aspect, the critical party that we need to interact is the customers, okay? Now, let's have a look at how we interact with the customers, okay? How do we interact with the customers? Right. Well, actually, our interaction with the customers is related to what we call as the exchange process. All right. Now, guys, that is one of the keywords in marketing. One of the keywords in marketing. Okay, that you need to consider when you explain marketing. Okay, so it is an exchange process that we go through with the customers. Okay. How does the exchange process go? Okay, let's look at it further. Let's zoom into what we mean by exchange. Well, when two parties are involved in an exchange process, these parties should have something to offer to get something else in return. Yeah. So in this instance, as a firm, we have something that we call offering. Okay, and the customers should have something else. Otherwise, they are not going to be engaged in the exchange process. Okay, so they should have what we call as needs and also purchase power. Right? Without these, the exchange process doesn't happen. Right? So the customers actually evaluate what we offer. Okay, if they say what we offer meets their needs, okay, they will say, actually, well, I like what you offer because it meets my need. Actually, the customers is telling us we have helped them solving problem. Okay, we have helped them solving problem. Okay, now look, helping people solving problem is not necessarily with high technological products. Okay, like the guys at Apple, Google, and so on and so forth are doing. It could be as simple as laundry detergent. It could be as simple as baby napkins that absorb liquid better to help babies sleep well at night, so parents can sleep well at night. So the next day they are fresh to go to work. Okay. Now, if that happens, we actually have what we call as added value to the customer's life. As you mentioned before, you use the term value. Okay. And actually, that triggers the customers to spend the money for our offering. In other words, we also create value here. Okay? our firm is getting wealthier. So we create value on both sides, right? In other words, if you look at that, marketing is actually about creating and communicating, okay, delivering, offering, okay, that has value in the exchange process for customers. Okay, so guys, there are just some highlights for you in terms of marketing concepts. Okay, now I got a warning from my Zoom that our meeting will conclude in the next few minutes. Can I suggest that we stop the meeting and come back to the meeting room again by clicking the same link? Okay, so we can discuss the other topics as well. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah. Hello.
Yeah.
Yep, all good.
Brilliant. All right, so I'll see you in the next couple of minutes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.